Enhancing accessibility of Word documents. Hello everyone, I am Miracle. We are the #IDEA project team from the Faculty of Education at the University of Hong Kong. This video is about how to enhance the accessibility of Word documents. Word documents that are accessible would enable users of assistive technologies such as screen readers to process the information easily and logically. Accessible layout and content are easier to follow and ultimately benefit all users. In this video, we will cover 10 themes of essential tips that would make Word documents more accessible, including font formatting, document structure, spacing, use of tables, use of color, use of graphics, hyperlinks, inclusive content, accessibility check, and file sharing. We will use Microsoft Word for illustration. The sets of commands may be different across authoring tools or computer systems, but the general ideas still apply. It is important to note that software and computer programs are constantly and rapidly developing along with changing accessibility functions. Statements in this video about the accessibility-related functions of the programs and operating systems may no longer represent their current status. Please also keep in mind that the points mentioned in this video are not exhaustive and do not guarantee full accessibility. We should always consider diverse needs of users. We also encourage you to refer to our toolkit to further explore document accessibility. Text formatting. Regarding text formatting, we would need to be aware of 6 things. Sans serif fonts are generally preferred, using appropriate punctuation, using appropriate font size, avoiding using all caps or small caps, using Styles Pane for text formatting, using Styles Pane to set font style for conveying meanings.
Sans serif fonts are generally preferred to serif fonts. Serif fonts have small lines at the edge that may hamper readability. Some users, especially people with dyslexia, might find it hard to read decorative fonts and those whose letters are close to one another. Sans serif fonts do not have decorative lines at the edge. They are generally preferred to serif fonts. Examples are Arial, Calibri, and Verdana. Some fonts may not be available in most of the common computer systems. For example, Helvetica is a recommended sans serif font. It is available on Mac but not on Windows. Be aware that Helvetica text may or may not display as Helvetica style in different computers as intended. Avoid only decorative fonts or light fonts. Be aware of whether the word art is easily readable. Be aware that smart art requires alternative text, and assistive technologies such as screen readers may not be able to read the text on smart art. Use appropriate punctuation. Be aware of punctuation that visually looks similar but symbolize different meanings. Otherwise, it would make it difficult for users of assistive technologies such as screen readers to understand the content. For example, be aware of the differences between the marks of inches, feet, apostrophe, and quotation marks. Use the marks of smart quotes as quotation marks. Do not use the marks of straight quotes as the quotation marks. It is important to use appropriate font size. Appropriate font size can make the documents more comfortable and easier to read. Larger fonts would be more accessible for people with visual impairment. It also helps students sitting at the far end of classrooms or lecture halls. It is recommended to use 12-point or larger font size for the body text. It is also important to avoid having extremely large and small text in the same document. You may want to be aware of the proportion of font sizes within the same document. Some readers may need to magnify the documents. They may get lost in the text with extreme font sizes after magnifying the documents. Avoid using all caps or small caps for the text. Capitalizing all text is difficult for most people to read. Text with all caps or small caps may show no differences in the shapes of text, and all the text may visually appear like a single rectangle. It would particularly create barriers to some people with visual impairment and some people with reading disabilities. Use Styles Pane instead of the font pane for text formatting. It is common to do manual formatting using the font pane. However, manual formatting by the font pane may not be identified by assistive technologies such as screen readers. It also cannot be used to automatically create or update the tables of contents. On the other hand, Formatting created by the Styles pane can be identified by screen readers. Heading and document structure created by Styles pane will generally be retained when the Word document is exported to PDF. It is essential for accessible PDF. Heading and document structure created by the Styles pane can also be used to create and update the table of contents. Use the Styles pane to format text style, heading, and document structure. Use Styles pane to set font style for conveying meanings. The manual formatting of bold, italics, underlining commands in the font pane can make the text visually appear as bold, italicized, or underlined. However, screen readers cannot recognize such font styles made by the font pane. Only font styles created by the Style pane could be identified by screen readers.
To submit a copy to the Moodle site under Video Workshop on or before 28/11/2022, Monday. Rename the file with your English name, e.g. Prep spelling error task VW John.
It is suggested to use the font style Strong in the Styles pane to indicate important text content, instead of using bold or underlining in the font pane. Use the font style Emphasis in the Styles pane to emphasize that text content, instead of using italics in the font pane. Avoid underlining text to indicate emphasized text. Screen readers and some people with visual impairment may interpret underlined text as hyperlinks.
Style Normal 2. Submit a copy to the Moodle site under Video Workshop Style Strong on or before 28/11/2022, Monday. Style Normal. Rename the file with your English name, e.g. Style Emphasis Prep spelling error task VW John. Style Normal.
Document structure. Regarding how to structure the document, we would need to be aware of 4 things: setting appropriate alignment and segments, creating lists using built-in numbered or bulleted lists, formatting meaningful heading structure of the document, and not putting important information outside the body section.
Set appropriate alignment and segments. Left justification is generally preferred to full justification. The uneven spacing between the words in full justified text could make readers difficult to follow and understand the text. Another point is avoiding long and complicated sentences. Divide long bodies of text into different sections. It is also not recommended to create columns by pressing the Tab key or spacebar in between text on one line. It makes the text visually appear as columns. However, screen readers cannot identify it as columns. Screen readers would read the text on one line instead of as columns as you intended.
This is a column formatted incorrectly. Read the sentence in correct order. The screen reader will not be able to.
It is suggested to format columns using the built-in Columns function. Go to Layout and select Columns. You could select the desired number of columns in the drop-down menu.
Column 1 of 2. This is a column formatted correctly. The screen reader will be able to read the sentence in correct order.
Create lists using the built-in functions in Word for ordered or unordered lists. A list could facilitate reading and information processing. Screen readers can recognize it as a list and identify the number of items in the list before it begins to read the items. Screen readers would first read that there is a list, followed by the number of the items in the list. When screen readers finish reading all the items in the list, screen readers would read the end of the list. When the lists are formatted in this way properly, when the author adds or removes items, the order and numbering will automatically adjust. It can save time editing. Do not create lists by manually typing numbers or symbols at the beginning of each line. It may visually look like a list. However, screen readers cannot recognize them as a list. Screen readers cannot identify the number of items or where to end the list. It could be confusing.
D. What difficulties/misconceptions students may have about this demonstration. E. Describe and explain briefly what you would do in the following stages of the lesson. A. Introducing the demonstration. B. Implementing the demonstration. C. After the demonstration.
To format a list correctly, go to Home, Bullets, choose the desired formatting of the numbering or bullets. Format meaningful heading structure of the document. A well-formatted and meaningful heading structure allows users to understand the semantic structure of the document better and jump between headings to look for information from a large piece of text efficiently. Without heading structure, screen reader users need to go through the whole document every time they want to look for certain parts of the text. A properly formatted heading structure can be used to create a table of contents. Users can also navigate and edit the document structure by viewing the list of headings in the outline view, or the navigation pane. It would benefit all users. To check whether the heading structure is properly formatted, use Navigation pane. Go to View tab, select Navigation pane, select the Headings tab to view the list of headings. Headings that have already been applied with heading styles appear in the Navigation pane. It can help you check whether the heading structure is properly formatted. It can also help you browse the document efficiently by selecting the heading from the Navigation pane. You may jump between the sections for easy navigation by selecting the corresponding headings. However, note that headings in tables, text boxes, headers, or footers would not appear in the Navigation pane. Create a table of contents for readers to browse the document efficiently and have a better understanding of the content structure. It can also help you check whether the heading structure is properly formatted. To create a table of contents, go to References, Table of Contents, select Automatic Table of Contents from the drop-down menu. You need to make sure to follow the heading hierarchy in logical order, starting from heading 1 to heading 4 and so on, along with the normal style. It is important to not skip heading levels. It is also important to keep headings specific to the content that belongs to that section and clear to someone new to the topic. A concise heading would also be useful to Braille display users. Refreshable Braille display may present up to 80 characters at a time. To format the heading structure, we should use the built-in heading styles in the Styles pane. Select the text that you want to make into a heading. Go to Home tab, select the Styles gallery to expand the drop-down menu that displays all the styles. Select the Heading 1 style for document title. Select the Heading 2 style for headings of each major section of the document. Select the Heading 3, Heading 4, Heading 5, or Heading 6 in normal style accordingly, based on your document structure. Do not use the title or subtitle in the Style pane to format headings because these styles would not show up as headings. Such formatting may not be retained and recognized when the Word document is exported to PDF. You may modify the design of each style, such as font size, background colors, borders, and line spacing in the Styles pane. Right-click the heading style and select Modify. Then, make the changes you want accordingly. If you select Update to Match selection in the drop-down menu, all text in this heading style would automatically be changed to match this new look.
Heading Level 1 Style Heading 1 Video Workshop Preparatory Task Style Normal Name, in full English Name, University Number, Date. Heading Level 2 Style Heading 2 Directions Style Normal. Please follow the instructions below to document the development and growth of your knowledge as you participate in the video workshop.
Do not use the font pane to create headings by only applying font sizes, colors, or bold to the text. Screen readers cannot identify any heading structure. Only heading structure created by using the Styles pane can be identified by screen readers and retained when the Word document is exported to PDF.
Video Workshop Preparatory Task Name, in full English Name, University Number, Date. Directions. Please follow the instructions below to document the development and growth of your knowledge as you participate in the video workshop.
Do not put important information outside the body section. Watermarks are generally inaccessible to screen readers. They may overlap the body text, making it more difficult to read the text clearly, especially for people with visual impairment and people with reading disabilities. Some users of assistive technologies may or may not access the headers or footers like the body text. Therefore, Do not put important information about the document in headers, footers, or watermarks.
Spacing. Regarding creating different types of spacing within the document, we would need to be aware of 3 issues. Setting sufficient line spacing, not inserting spacing by the Enter key, inserting page break to create a new page.
Set sufficient line spacing. Introducing sufficient line spacing within the text could avoid densely packed sentences. Line spacing may affect readability. If the line spacing is too tight, the text lines would appear crowded and become harder to read. Sometimes, the characters between lines may even overlap. However, if the line spacing is too large, the text lines would appear disconnected and unrelated, and become difficult to understand. To adjust line spacing, select the text lines concerned. Go to the Home tab, select Line and Paragraph Spacing, select the spacing you want in the drop-down menu, select Line Spacing options in the drop-down menu to customize line spacing. Do not insert spacing by the Enter key. Inserting paragraph spacing or empty lines manually by pressing the Enter or Return key is a common practice. However, this practice is not recommended. While this makes the document appear to have paragraph spacing, screen readers would read these empty lines as blank. It can be very annoying and confusing to the users. They may also assume they have already reached the end of the document.
Name, in full. English name. University number. Date. Blank. Directions. Please follow the instructions below to document the development and growth of your knowledge as you participate in the video workshop. Blank. 1. Complete the task sheet by typing your responses to the questions in this document.
It is recommended to insert paragraph spacing by adjusting the amount of space before and after each paragraph. Do not achieve this by pressing the Enter key repeatedly. To adjust paragraph spacing, select the paragraphs concerned. Go to Home tab, select Line and Paragraph Spacing, select Line Spacing options in the drop-down menu to open the paragraph dialog. Then, in the spacing section of the paragraph dialog, adjust the value for before and after respectively to set the amount of paragraph spacing you want. To adjust the amount of space between headings and the paragraphs before and after each heading, you would need to first go to the Styles gallery. Right-click the style of the heading concerned. Select Modify to open the Properties pane. Then, select Paragraph in the Format drop-down menu. You could adjust the spacing here with similar procedures as before. Insert page break to create a new page. To insert a page break, go to Insert and select Page Break. A new page is now created without empty lines. It is not recommended to create a new page by pressing the Enter or Return key multiple times, which creates too many empty lines. If there are many empty lines created in this way, users of screen readers would keep listening blank. It can be very annoying and confusing to the users. They may also assume they have already reached the end of the document.
Describe your planning by answering the questions below. Blank, 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 blank. Table with 2 rows and 1 columns, level 1 row 1 column 1. The power of atmospheric pressure. Demonstration.
Tables. Regarding creating accessible tables, we would need to be aware of 4 issues. Not using tables for formatting layout, using built-in functionality to insert tables, always specifying the header row of a table, and inserting descriptive caption for tables.
Do not use tables for formatting layout. Use tables for necessary data presentation only. Do not use tables just for the purpose of formatting or layout. Screen readers cannot locate any header information or make sense of the information in each cell. Although screen readers may be able to read out each cell, it cannot provide meaningful information to the readers.
Heading Level 1 Video Workshop Preparatory Task Table with 2 rows and 2 columns. Level 1 row 1 column 1 name, in full column 2 English name, row 2 column 1 university number, column 2 date, out of table.
Even if you remove the grid lines of these table cells to make it invisible, it does not mean the table has really disappeared. You may use the built-in ruler tab marker to create columns for layout formatting instead of using tables. Go to View tab, Ruler, to display the ruler tab marker. Use Word's built-in functionality to insert table. For a small and simple table, go to Insert tab, Table. Move the cursor over the grid until you highlight the number of columns and rows you want. For a larger and customized table, go to Insert tab, Table, Insert Table. The Insert Table pane pops up. Input the number of columns and rows you want. Select OK. If possible, consider presenting data in paragraphs with headings and avoid using tables, or consider providing both options to cater for different user preference. Do not create tables simply by either combining text boxes and lines, or the draw table function. These methods may create a visual appearance of a table. However, screen readers cannot recognize it as truly a table with meaningful structure of columns and header rows. The visual appearance of such a table may also be distorted if some users magnify the document by increasing the text size. Use the built-in function to add or remove the number of rows or columns. Do not draw grid lines manually to increase or remove rows or columns. Select a table. Go to the Layout tab of the Table Tools. Make use of the commands Insert Above and Insert Below to add rows, and the commands Insert Left and Insert Right to add columns. Select a table. Go to the Layout tab of the Table Tools. Make use of the commands Delete Columns or Delete Rows to remove rows or columns. Do not use merged, split, nested, or multiple headings. These designs make screen readers lose count of the number of rows and columns and cannot read out meaningful information from the table. It is suggested to use simple table.
Row 3 column 1 2. Individualized Education Program or Plan, IEP, column 2 30%, column 3 clo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, column 4 no, row 4 column 1 3. Issues paper column 2 50%, column 3 clo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, row 3 column 4 row 4, out of table. Row 3 types of assessment tasks or activities column 1 2. Individualized Education Program or Plan, IEP, waiting in final course grade column 2 30% alignment with CLOS column 3 clo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 group work column 4 no group work column 5 row 4 types of assessment tasks or activities column 1 3. Issues paper waiting in final course grade column 2 50% alignment with CLOS column 3 clo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 group work column 4 no group work column 5 out of table.
Avoid blank cells. Screen readers may assume there is nothing more in the table. It can be confusing. You could use some text or symbols to clearly indicate cells that are intentionally left blank. For example, no data, intentionally left blank, not applicable, or missing data. Avoid inserting tables as an image into the document. Images would be potentially inaccessible to assistive technologies. If an image must be used, insert alternative text to the image of the tables to make it more accessible to assistive technologies. Provide a more detailed text description of the image of the tables if needed. Check the reading order of the table by pressing only the Tab key starting from the top left cell. Tables should follow such a logical reading order from left to right, top to bottom. Assistive technologies such as screen readers may read the information in each cell one by one from left to right and from the top to the bottom.
Tasks or activities table has long description with 4 rows and 4 columns. Level 1 row 1 column 1 types of assessment tasks or activities column 2 waiting in final course grade column 3 alignment with CLOS column 4 new column row 2 types of assessment tasks or activities column 1 1 online forum and class participation waiting in final course grade column 2 20% alignment with CLOS column 3 clo 1 2 3 4 5 6 new column 4 yes row 3 types of assessment tasks or activities column 1 2. Individualized Education Program or Plan, IEP, weighting in final course grade column 2 30% alignment with CLOS column 3 CLO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new column 4 yes.
Always specify the header row of a table. Sighted users may be able to identify row and column headers based on the visual presentation of the table. However, screen readers need the header information to identify rows and columns, so that it can count and read aloud the number of columns and rows. Then, it reads the information in each cell one by one from left to right and from top to bottom. To specify header row, highlight the header row of the table and select the option Header Row. The first row should be the column header. The first column should be the row header. Do not specify header row by manually formatting the cells and text of the first row, for example, using bold and larger text. While it may create visual appearance header, screen readers cannot identify it as truly a header. Keep table rows on the same page. Allowing table rows to be broken across 2 pages may make it difficult for users to understand the content, especially people with reading disabilities, people with visual impairment, or screen reader users. To keep rows on the same page, select and highlight the table. Go to the Layout sub-tab under the Table Tools tab. Select Properties. Go to the Row tab in the Table Properties pane. Deselect the option Allow row to be broken across pages. Select the option Repeat as header row at the top of each page. Select OK. Insert descriptive captions for tables. Table captions can enable users of assistive technologies to create a list of tables for easier access and understanding. It is suggested to use the built-in function to insert table caption. Select a table, go to the References tab, then select Insert Caption. Input the title of the table in the caption field in the Caption dialog pane. Select Table in the Label drop-down menu. Do not create a caption manually by typing a caption in the body text near the table or formatting, such as bolding text. While it may create a visual appearance of a table caption, it cannot be used to add cross-referencing and cannot be identified as table captions by screen readers.
Use of color. Regarding accessible use of color, we would need to be aware of 2 issues: ensuring sufficient color contrast and not using color as the sole visual cue.
Ensure sufficient color contrast. Content with sufficient color contrast is easier for everyone to read. Weak color contrast would be inaccessible to some users, particularly people who are colorblind, people with visual impairment, people viewing the slides through monitors in bright sunlight or glare, or people viewing the slides through a projector display in a well-lit venue. You could use software applications to check color contrast, such as Color Contrast Analyzer and WebAIM Contrast Checker. Using the example of Color Contrast Analyzer, enter the colors of the document background and text in the analyzer. You may enter color codes directly or use the color picker. Then, the checkers will tell whether this color combination would fulfill or fail color contrast requirements based on the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. If it fails, then it might suggest that we need to consider changing the color of either the background or the foreground colors, or both. Otherwise, this color combination may not be visually accessible to some readers. After we change the colors, redo the check until you get a combination that fulfills the accessibility requirement. Check and ensure sufficient color contrast between the hyperlink text and its surrounding body text, between the text against document background, as well as between unvisited hyperlinks and visited hyperlinks, respectively. An example of online checker for linked text is the WebAIM Link Contrast Checker. Do not use color-on-color background and text, such as light blue text on dark blue background. Check whether the colored text or diagrams in the document are properly displayed in grayscale. It is a useful and important practice because many students would print out course materials such as handouts in black and white. You may also try selecting the other color filters in the drop-down menu to view the document in simulated color blindness situations. Fix any parts in the document that do not present the intended meanings under color filters. Do not use color as the sole visual cue.
People with color blindness, no contrast sensitivity, and some visual impairment may have difficulty distinguishing between certain colors. Therefore, using colors as the only visual cue to convey important information could hinder understanding of the document content.
For example, a red X and a green X are used to represent compulsory lecture and optional class in the table respectively. However, some users, such as people with color blindness, may be unable to differentiate the red X and the green X. Users who print out the slides in grayscale may also be unable to differentiate the colors. To enhance accessibility, use multiple visual cues to present. Use both color and descriptive text in the table, such as compulsory and optional, respectively. Another example is when presenting data with charts. It is recommended to use color, pattern, and text labels to identify each pie section of the pie charts. Put the text labels near or directly on the corresponding pie section to enable readers to understand the chart clearly. Do not put all the text labels below the chart.
Use of graphics. Regarding accessible use of graphics, we would need to be aware of 3 issues: avoiding putting text over images, providing alternative text for graphical content, and positioning non-text elements such as in line with text.
Avoid putting text over images. Different shapes such as speech bubbles are sometimes used to emphasize certain text. Assistive technologies such as screen readers may not identify these shapes and could not access the associated text content. It is suggested to avoid putting important text over images. It may interfere with reading.
Depart even by more than 10 horses. Fig. 20.4. Dot. People call these hemispheres Maddie-Bird hemispheres. Column 2 row 3 column 1. Today your teacher will show you this magic experiment again.
To make it more accessible, an alternative method is to add borders around the text by using the Styles pane. You could also insert a table with a single cell and input the text in this table. Provide alternative text for graphical content. Alternative text concisely describes the content and the purposes of the graphical content in brief phrases or 1 to 2 sentences. Examples of graphical content include photos, shapes, pictures, charts, smart art, and graphics. Alternative text enables users of assistive technologies to understand graphical content. When screen readers recognize an image with alternative text, screen readers will read image or graphic, followed by reading the associated alternative text.
People call these hemispheres Maddie-Bird hemispheres. Graphic Maddie-Bird hemispheres built by 10 horses. Row 3 column 1. Today your teacher will show you this magic experiment again. People call these hemispheres Maddie-Bird hemispheres. Graphic. Row 3 column 1. Today your teacher will show you this magic experiment again.
Sighted users generally do not see the alternative text. However, when images do not load successfully or the browsers block images by default, alternative text of that image may display to let users know what the image is about. Sighted users would also see the alternative text under this situation even if they are not using assistive technologies. To insert alternative text, select the graphical content. Go to Picture Format tab to open the alternative text pane for inputting the alternative text. Sometimes, a description is auto-generated, but it might not be accurate. Remove this auto-generated description and input your own alternative text. Here are some tips for drafting alternative text. In general, no need to begin with phrases such as picture of or image of. Only include the informative text embedded within the graphical content in the alternative text. Use punctuation such as periods to end the alternative text. Otherwise, screen readers may mix up the alternative text and the main body text that follows. It may confuse the users. Be aware that hyperlinks in the alternative text cannot be activated or presented by link text. Graphical content that are purely for visual decorative purposes, for formatting purposes such as stylistic borders, repetitively used or do not provide meaningful information generally do not require alternative text. For descriptions of complex graphical content, like charts and graphs, it is not recommended to write detailed and lengthy alternative text. You could consider providing the lengthy description using the following solutions. It would help every user understand complex graphical content, not only assistive technology users. Position non-text elements as in line with text. Image position may affect readability. The image should be positioned on their own lines. Some sighted readers may prefer floating images with text wrapped around the image. However, text wrapped around images may not be identified by screen readers.
1. Push two Magdeburg hemispheres together. Apply some Vaseline to the junction of the hemispheres. Connect them to a vacuum pump. 2. Switch on the pump to remove air from the hemispheres. Fig. 20.5. 3. Try to pull the hemispheres apart. Can you separate them? Why?
The images and text should be positioned in line. To do this, you could right-click the image to expand the shortcut drop-down menu. Go to Wrap Text, then select In Line with Text. Sometimes, after setting the image position to be in line with text, the image may not display properly. Part of the image may appear hidden behind the text. If the image does not display properly, try adjusting the line spacing of the image. Select the image and set the line spacing of that image to single or double, or just about anything except exactly. Afterward, the image should be able to display properly. Regarding accessible hyperlinks, we should use descriptive link text for hyperlinks. Users of assistive technologies such as screen reader users sometimes scan a list of all the hyperlinks in the document for effective navigation and understanding.
List of sign language interpreters in Hong Kong. Hong Kong Blind Union, 2014. Chapter 5.4 Web and Multimedia Accessibility. Research report on the support for tertiary students in Hong Kong by the Hong Kong Blind Union in 2014.
The way that screen readers read hyperlinks is link text, link, and followed by the word link.
2. Submit a copy to the link Moodle site out of link under video workshop on or before 28/11/2022, Monday.
If you want to insert a hyperlink, go to and select Insert, Hyperlink. Input a descriptive and meaningful text for the hyperlink in the Text to Display command in the Insert Hyperlink pane. Enter the full URL in the address. It is important the link text is concise and gives relevant information of the action and destination of the hyperlinks. Do not simply use non-descriptive link text such as read more or click here to present the hyperlink. It is confusing as it does not provide meaningful information of where or what the hyperlinks will take the users to and when used out of context. If the link text is too long, it may visually appear to break across separate lines. Some users may misunderstand there are several hyperlinks. A long link text may also hinder understanding. If the hyperlink downloads a file, indicate the file type and the file size in the link text. Depending on the context, in general, do not embed the links using the full URL as the link text. Using the full URL as link text would make screen readers read aloud every single character of the URL, which can be confusing to the users. For documents likely to be presented both electronically and in print, such as students' lecture notes, you may want to retain the full URL for users' reference. the link text may include a brief description for the hyperlink's destination. Embed the short URL if possible to keep the link text concise. For reference list items, the work's URL or DOI may be retained for users' information. The title of the work can be the link text under these situations. The difference between the reference list and the body content is that the reference list is not meant to be read from start to finish. For email, it is suggested to use the full email address as the link text. It shows the hyperlink opens email instead of web pages or documents. If the link text is "contact us" or "email us," it would be less accessible because it does not indicate that this hyperlink is an email address. To make the content more inclusive, we need to be mindful of inclusive language and disability representation.
Use inclusive language, avoid biased language, and consider disability representation and diversity in mind. Portray disabled people as ordinary people in society as they are. Do not create an impression of separateness, specialness, and dependence. Avoid focusing on their medical conditions.
Avoid portraying disabled people as a passive recipient of help from others. For example, a student with visual impairment being helped to cross the road, or the wheelchair of a wheelchair-using student being pushed by a fellow classmate. Portray diversity. Show people with disabilities in everyday social situations and campus environment. For example, pictures showing a group of students walking around the campus may include students with diverse characteristics to represent the inherent diversity, such as disability and skin color.
Avoid emphasizing too much on some people with disabilities who have remarkable achievements as role models through storytelling. After all, the accomplishments of people with disabilities are worth celebrating on the basis of their competency instead of their disability status, just as it is to celebrate the accomplishments of people without disabilities.
Regarding accessibility check, we need to use the built-in accessibility checker to fix potential issues. The built-in accessibility checker in Microsoft Word can automatically detect some potentially inaccessible designs of the document, such as missing alternative text, and provide suggestions for fixing the potentially problematic areas. To run the built-in checker, go to Review tab, Check Accessibility. Note that passing the check does not necessarily guarantee full accessibility, but failing the check would mean there are some inaccessible features that needs to be addressed. Do not solely rely on this checker for accessible documents. For example, the checker could not tell whether the alternative text is meaningful. If possible, it is recommended to go through the document with screen readers to check the reading order of the document. Here are some examples of screen readers. Do not use the built-in immersive reader in Microsoft Word for testing the reading order and accessibility. It may work differently from assistive technologies such as screen readers.
File sharing. When we save and share the document, we would need to be aware of 3 issues: setting document languages, editing the file information and properties, and converting to PDF by Save As.
Set document languages. It is important to indicate the languages within the document for screen readers to identify and read properly. To set the document languages, select the text you want to set the language for. This could be the entire document or just a paragraph depending on your situation. Go to the Review tab to select Language and Set Proofing Language. In the dialog pane, select the language you want to set. You can repeat the procedures if you need to set another language for other parts of text in the document. Edit the file information and properties. Edit the file information such as title, author, and keywords of the document to facilitate users to identify and search the document. To edit the file information, go to File and select Info. Edit the file information in the corresponding fields. Tags can make it easier for users to search for a file. For example, instructors can add the course code or keywords related to the Word document. Document title could be different from the file name. The document title can be a descriptive version of the file name. It could enable the PDF converted from Word document to display the document title in the PDF window. If users open multiple PDF files at the same time, the descriptive title of each document can help users differentiate and browse between the different PDF files. Convert to PDF as Save As instead of Print to PDF. Use the Save as PDF option to convert the Word document to PDF to help retain the accessible designs of the original document. Do not use the Print to PDF or Best for Printing function when exporting the document. The PDF created in these ways would not retain the accessible features in the original Word document, like the heading structure, alternative text for graphical content, and logical reading order. When exporting your document to PDF, be sure to select the option Best for Electronic Distribution and Accessibility if you are using a Mac. If you have selected Minimize Size to reduce the PDF size, make sure that Document Structure Tags for Accessibility in Options is selected. It is always recommended to further check the accessibility of this PDF and fix any potential issues.
Disclaimer.
This video does not contain any business promotion elements. Software, programs, and operating systems are constantly and rapidly developing along with changing accessibility functions. Statements in this video about the functions of any software, programs, and operating systems may no longer represent the current status. The recommended practices in this video are not exhaustive or the best solutions for each situation. It is possible that the hyperlinks of the cited resources in this video might be edited or removed by the corresponding contributor after publication of this video.
References. You may find the full references on screen now. You may also refer to the text version of the reference list below the video player on the webpage. Acknowledgement. This project is funded by the UGC Special Grant for Strategic Development of Virtual Teaching and Learning. The first author, Gloria Ma, would like to acknowledge the support of the postdoctoral fellowship scheme offered by the Research Grants Council of Hong Kong. To cite this video, please follow the suggested citation. This work is licensed under Attribution Non-Commercial Sharia Alike 4.0 International. For more guidelines on creating accessible digital educational materials and virtual learning environments, please refer to our Virtual Learning Accessibility Toolkit at https://vlaccessibilitytoolkit.hku.hk or download the full text in PDF from HKU Data Repository. You may scan the QR code on screen now to visit the database. You may also download the set of cheat sheets for quick reference and sharing. You are highly encouraged to watch the other videos in this ID Leaders Self-Learning series to enrich the knowledge of the basic concepts, practical tips, and resources of enhancing the accessibility of virtual teaching and learning. Here comes to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Let's begin our journey towards co-creating accessible virtual teaching and learning.